Hello and welcome back to the Cove with more BattleTech. Okay, well, we have one more contract on this planet and I think we're going to give it a shot. We've done pretty well on what has been the lower levels of difficulty, and I think we might have a chance at this. And realistically, I want some good salvage, so that's what we're going to go for. We've got plenty of money, well, enough money to run right now. We will go ahead and keep things at a fairly... what is this? Fairly standard spot. I am tempted for the 3 salvage, but at the same time too, I think this should be fairly sufficient. I don't know what we're going to be fighting, but I think that's enough salvage. We could go for some extra money. It's about, what's that, 247... look, it's about 70 grand different. Actually, you know what, for 70 grand, maybe we do lean slightly more into the salvage. We'll still go for some good money though. Every little bit does count. This is against the Taurians. The Federated Suns will appreciate this, and I think this should be fine. Now, this is a capture base, so this will be a bit different. Now, one thing I do want to do is whenever we start missions, I find that these two are always in the middle because of the way we've positioned them, so we're going to move them around just that little bit for now, and we're going to make sure that they get, they're a little bit easier for me to move early on. Yeah, there we go. I think we'll start with the Enforcer first, as that is a slight bit slower, I believe. 3 movement... Oh, no, you know what, they're about the same. It doesn't matter, though. We do have our Commando. Our Javelin is in the shop. I am curious whether we should bring that along, but you know what? It's been a while since we've used the Commando. Let's go ahead and we'll bring that out. I'm not 100% sure if that'll be the right choice, but it is the one we're going with. And then I think, well, actually, it doesn't change too much between Fimble nor Big Man. And we don't really need the tactics at this stage. I think... 7 gunnery, 4 piloting, 4 guts. You know what? This just might be the right call over there. Alright, go ahead and we'll bring that across, and we'll see how that goes. Oh, and actually, do we want to go from heaviest to lightest? Yeah, let's switch those so it's a little bit easier for us to figure out when we're in the field. Okay, well, this will be interesting. I'm definitely expecting a little bit more of an interesting fight. I'm hoping that we're going to finally be able to get enough pieces of maybe a Marauder to get that up and running. I'd really love to be able to get a heavy mech. That's also one of the reasons why I'm going for the full for 3 full salvage picks. That way we can, at least if we get lucky with a headshot, we might be able to snatch a mech, which would be particularly delightful because, again, I feel like as much as we can do some of these lower leveled things, we're going to need heavier mechs for us to have a better chance in the future. But either way, let's go ahead and read today's objective. So, we must go ahead and take back the ancestral fortress. A Davion family lost a large area of land on Brockway, thanks to dubious legal maneuvering by Taurian agents. This land includes an important ancestral military base. We need this base taken back from the Taurians and held until this can be sorted out. Okay, well, I don't buy the ancestral fortress part of this, but the legal maneuverings check out. Commander, a merc company coming in could resolve this quickly and prevent a large-scale war? Battle? I don't really know. It's not letting me scroll. But I'll assume that that's what it was meant to be. Alright, so let's just give this game a second and then... Oh! We jumped straight on in. Okay, well, this is where the Davion Ancestral Fortress is located. Let's get eyes on and see how many units we're going to be facing. Okay. Move up and then clear out any defenders and hold the area until Davion forces arrive to relieve you. Okay, well,
Alright, keep your eyes open and watch your sensors.
Well, that doesn't quite seem right. It looks like our game has been a little bit bugged. That's fine. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to save and reload, and hopefully that fixes our visual issue. Okay, well, that's much better now that we've reloaded the game. Makes it looking like mechs. Okay, so this is where we're heading. We've got to scout the fortress. Let's go ahead and start marching on forwards. Let's see. Anything we note about the terrain? There's some good cover around here. That could be helpful. Also near the border as well, so we're unlikely to get outflanked. Yeah, and then there's some more cover over here. I think what we may try and do... Yeah, these walls are going to protect most of this. I think we might try and scout our way over here because there's more cover for us. So that's what we'll do. Could potentially go up and over with the well, actually no, the enforcer we want to make that run down if at all possible.
Moving to position.
Going to need close quarters there. The Vindicator we can probably set up on the hill. Actually, you know, we might be able to find a spot maybe up over here in some cover as well. So let's just go... We'll march on up there. The Phoenix Hawk, we're pretty cruisy as far as our maneuverability is concerned. And then our Commando, let's just get that moving on forwards. We should be able to sort this out fairly well. The Enforcer, let's keep on moving.
Acknowledged.
Let's start cutting across if we can. The Phoenix Hawk, I think we'll go... do we just jump down? I think we do. There we are. Nice and easy. And then the Commando, let's just keep that with everybody else.
On my way.
That is, of course, our lightest mech with the least armor. Therefore, we do need to be somewhat careful.
Orders.
Alright, let's see if we can get Headhunter into position here. I think we'll go... Actually, you know what? It's not the worst spot as far as sight lines are concerned. But I'm still not seeing contact. Let's go towards the trees. The Enforcer, let's roll forwards. The Phoenix Hawk, let's bring into cover. And then our Commando still can travel... You know, let's bring you up over here and see if we can scout out any contact. Alright, this is the Ancestral Fortress. This looks like a modern operational military base to me. Alright, I don't like this. Watch for enemy reinforcements, Commander. Okay. Well, we've got to occupy and defend. No worries there. Alright, the big question is, would we rather... You know what? We might actually use the Commando to zip on in and we can get everybody else into a better position. I think we'll take this cover down here, try and lead them towards us. I think we'll have better firing lines, and then if they're up over here, we can deal with them fairly swiftly. So let's get the Enforcer up and running. We'll get the Vindicator into similar position.
Heading out.
The Phoenix Hawk, we will scout any trouble.
Be there in a jiff.
And then our Commando can move in fairly comfortably. So let's just move on forwards. Actually, you know, we'll move all the way up over here, see if there's anything
Roger.
to make contact with. Okay. So once we jump on in, we're going to have reinforcements drop down and try and retake the base. Let's get the Enforcer into position.
On the move.
Let's get the Vindicator... yeah, let's bring the Vindicator up as well.
Coordinates received.
The Phoenix Hawk, we could
Commander.
move, but let's go ahead and get this in.
Move order received.
And then the Phoenix Hawk, let's move up over there.
As you wish.
Alright, let's see how this goes. I'm sure they're not going to be too thrilled about whatever it is that's about to occur. No?
Heads
Oh,
up, Commander.
here we are.
You've got hostile contacts inbound.
Where are they landing? Okay,
Double
far
blast.
side. Okay, 2 mechs from what we know. There could be more. Alright, that's a little bit unfortunate. I'd like to get some sniping done, but let's go ahead and reserve. We'll see which direction they start rotating around. We don't want to waste our movement unnecessarily. And then, is it just the 2 mechs? Oh no, they have a couple more. Okay, we do need to be careful then.
Receiving you.
Alright, so as far as long-range contact is concerned, these guys are definitely going to come on around. Let's go with a sprint, and I think we move up into these trees. If they want to make it around the front, that we can handle. They do have a fairly heavy mech, it does appear. Yeah, they'll have a heavy for sure. Okay, and then
Yes, Commander.
let's get into better position with our Vindicator.
On my way.
And then let's go ahead and... We can't sensor lock, so let's just brace. And then...
Yes, Commander.
Cheese Goblin. I'm almost tempted. Oh, hang on a second. Drop pod inbound on this location. Okay, that's either our exfil side or they're bringing in more reinforcements, either of which is not good for us. Let's go ahead and move up this way. We'll get you to scout that out.
Fast.
And then... Big man.
Waiting for orders.
Let's get that thing... Yeah, let's move you out of here. Let's go ahead and we'll sprint all the way back around. We'll give some fire support to the Phoenix
I
Hawk.
copy.
I doubt that they'll be able to get around and shoot on the same turn, so... We're just going to cross our fingers and hope that that is the case. Alright, so, big man. There's a 55-ton mech up here. Nobody else. Yeah, look. I don't see them catching up. It does put us in a bit of a spot if they shoot into our firing arc, but again, I don't think that they can reach right now. Let us reserve. Alright, 35-tonner making its way up. Okay, definitely sprinting. That is...
Commander.
That is a little concerning, but it is what it is. Let's march on. Let's see, we could fire a UAC 10. We'll have pretty low percentage chance if this thing has been...
Receiving you.
Yeah, rather evasive. So let's go ahead and move forwards here. I think we'll see what we can do.
Move order received.
Alright, what do we see here? We've got a Jenner. Yep, lots of close quarters. Let's go ahead and we'll just take our shot. 40% is fairly terrible. You know what? Maybe we don't. Yeah, look, this thing's actually not in great condition. Let's go for a sensor lock instead. This will make us harder to hit, strip away more evasion, and then we'll see what we've got with that Ultra Autocannon 10. Oh, okay, well, good thing we stayed in cover. What was that? That was a 55.
Minimal damage on that
Yeah,
hit.
Wolverine. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, that thing's got some basic weapons. It's not as heavily armored as it could be. Actually, you know what? This Jenner could actually be more of a threat right now. This thing is going to stay in the game for longer, but it's already hotter, and that Jenner does
Good to go.
probably want to get taken down a notch if possible. So what do we see here? 65, 60, and 240s. Yeah, that's far, far worse. You know what? Let's go ahead and... Let's march on up. I don't like clustering, but it is what it is. We're going to try and take this guy out of the fight before he even gets anything away. We could technically go for precision strike. What would that increase our odds to? 80, 85, and 60s. You know, I do like to hold on to the result for the extra accuracy gain for everybody, but one less mech causing us trouble. I think this is worth it. We don't really need any Jenner salvage, so let's just go center mass.
Roger that.
Alright, well, we took out an arm.
Critical hit, Commander.
Something definitely hit fairly centrally. Yeah, 28 health remaining in that center torso. Alright. Well, we took out
You have orders?
a bunch of its armaments. Our Phoenix Hawk. Yeah, drop pods are inbound. We've only got one set of reinforcements. Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're going... Oh man, we're in a tough spot. Okay, sprint will only get us so far. I think we go ahead and jump. We're not going to generate any heat. But this will at least put us in a better position to fight on next turn.
Lifting off.
Yeah. Look, as much as I wanted to defend up over here, I don't think it's actually going to help us too much. And then, of course, we have no target, so let's brace. Big man.
Ready for orders.
Where can we get you going? I think... was that cover? Technically. I would really prefer more... A slightly more nimble spot if we could. 40%, that's pretty terrible. We're not going to get eyes on there. Alright, looks like we're going to have to move and shoot. Let's just see, what have we got? Medium laser, SRM-6. That's going to do a decent amount of damage. Potentially 60 damage, but most of that's going to be scattered. This thing we could quite possibly take out. You know what? We'll see what we can do here. 3... let's see. For 3 evasion, we can get 50%, or for 4 evasion, we can get 70s. You know what? I think we have to follow up with everything we've got. Our SRMs are in our front right-hand side, so we'll try and protect that slightly. And, I guess we'll see what we can do.
Heading out.
As long as this guy doesn't come in for melee, I think we should be fairly fine. But again, I doubt that that's going to be the case. Let's see what we can do here. And,
Giving him everything I've got.
not quite a kill. Alright, well, twin SRM-6s is not too shabby. And, oh, it's a catapult. Well, okay.
Damage is light.
Luckily, that evasion really paid off there. That is not what I was expecting. Yeah, catapult C4 with those twin LRM-20s. Yep, that's some firepower. Alright, let's go ahead and get out of here. Let's move. Let's go ahead and get out of here. We'll fire again on the Jenna. We might actually be able to take this out. That'll also give us some extra distance against that Wolverine.
On it.
Yeah, actually that precision strike has worked out particularly nicely. I think we've got a good chance of taking the kill here. We'll just have to see how we roll.
Roger that.
Alright, well, it's
That is something
kicking,
good.
but only mildly. Wolverine taking shots, missing our commando. That is excellent news. Alright.
Orders.
Okay, now we've got to start picking some of our shots. Alright, we could take some good damage here and just get rid of that Jenna. It's still... Oh man, that is... Still got a decent amount of life to it, unfortunately. If we took out a leg, that will eventually transfer to the torso. If anything can hit the target, that would be ideal. Let's see, what can our Phoenix Hawk do? We can move and shoot, but that's pretty dodgy. If we go ahead and jump, we could potentially hit the Jenna with some medium lasers, and you know what? That actually might be the best case for us. It's a decent amount of heat. We're in better position for these guys. We should have some obfuscation from some of these heavier mechs. Good evasion.
Engaging jump jet.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that we're out of position, but I think this is a decent plan. If we hit that center torso, it's down. If we take out a leg, that's going to take that down as well. The arm, there's not a huge amount of room to transfer, so we'll see how we go. And we only need one of them to really hit. Okay, there goes a leg.
That hit something good.
A torso. A knockdown. This could actually be a knockout right here. No, it's still up and kicking. Okay, well...
What's up, boss?
Alright then, let's move. Actually, I'm almost tempted to stay if possible. I want to cool down a bit if we can. You know what? Maybe we take a shot on that Jenna here. It's only got 2 hit points there. Maybe we just follow up with some medium lasers and cool down. I think that might actually be the best play here. Yeah. And will be a better target to go for than the commando, I would hope. Okay, let's go ahead and walk on forwards.
Got it.
We'll aim for the Jenna. We're going to turn off that UAC-10. We're going to cut off that large laser. Actually, 40 damage. Hang on a second. If we hit it in its leg, that doesn't help. Not quite enough if we hit that torso either, although that would be a knockout. Yeah, look, we're going to drop this. The 25 damage, as long as one of them hits the center torso, we're good. If both of them hit the right torso, we're also good. If both of them hit the head, that's good. The only Actually, you know what? It doesn't even matter if they hit them in the leg. That's still both enough damage. As long as they don't spread out between the leg and the center and the right torso, that's it. So let's just go ahead and fire. Yeah, we'll stay heat neutral, I guess. That'll have to be good enough.
Engaging with target.
Alright, center torso down. That'll work.
Enemy down.
Alright.
Good to go.
Ranek, what do we do here? Well, I actually think that you could be of decent use against that catapult. We've got some good damage at range. We've got some good damage we could apply. I definitely am more concerned about the catapult than I am the Wolverine. I think we go ahead and we reserve. Yeah. Also, too, if that allows this thing to move up forwards... Oh, wow. Okay.
Light damage.
Through
Holding firm.
letting that move first, we can probably strip
Standing
away
by.
some of its evasion. Yeah, 55s and 45s. Let's go... What have we got? 45s, 55s still. It's not getting any better, but we could make our life a little bit safer. And honestly, this is the biggest danger to us. Let's march on up, and I think... Although maybe a sensor lock wouldn't hurt either. Decrease its ability to put damage on us. Take away more evasion. You know what? It's under 50% to hit. You know what? We're going to go ahead and sensor lock. I think that's the right choice. I'd prefer to do damage, but if this makes it harder for them to do damage to us, that keeps more of our mechs in the fight, and we're also more likely to put damage on in the future. Yeah. Off we go.
Sensors locked on.
Alright, well the good news is that catapult is going to be
What's up, boss?
toasty, so that is at least something. That right torso is a little bit beat up, which is unfortunate, but there's not much we can do about this. We can swing around over here for 255s, and I think this is actually a good plan. It keeps us protected from the Wolverine. Yeah, let's march on over. We'll put some shots on target. Who knows what we could come up with. Let's go ahead and fire.
Here it comes.
Alright, just a little bit of armor off, but I will take what I can get. Alright, shots on the Phoenix Hawk. Fairly minimal. Yep, this is perfectly acceptable. Let's bring...
Awaiting orders.
Let's see, we could move up and take some shots there. That will heat us up, I think. Actually, hang on a second, what is this? Oh, vectored thrust kit, that's for us. Okay. Could possibly stab this thing in the back. That's not the worst plan either, although this still only leaves us with the catapult. Alright, hang on a second. Where is its weapons? Left arm's got nothing. Torso's got that SRM-6 on the left. Yeah, look, that's actually not the worst plan, all things considered. We might try and go for a melee, but we could also do some pretty severe damage. Yeah, look, you know what? Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we go in and we... Oh, actually, hang on a second. A melee could also be... not too bad of a way to cool off. Hang on a second. If we were to go for an attack... Yeah, 95% on the melee, 290s on those small lasers. That's still 95 damage. We could technically do more with the lasers, but this will allow us to cool down, and then we might be able to focus down the what do we call it? Catapult on the next turn. And I'd rather not get hit if I could avoid it.
Standing by.
You know what? For now, let's just go ahead and manage our other things first. We'll come back and decide. Let's go ahead and roll up with the Enforcer.
I copy.
Let's focus this thing down. The Ultra Autocannon is a yes. The large laser is a little bit too much to ask for, but again, I think focusing down the side, we should have a good chance of taking out that right torso. Either that or the leg. Yep, let's just go ahead and see what we can do first. Alright, well, there goes half of its weapons.
I think I hit something good.
This makes me happy.
Waiting for orders.
Let's move Ranek forwards with the Vindicator. Ooh, 85s across the board. That's pretty substantial. Yeah, alright.
Confirmed.
We're following up. We have to go ahead and do this. We've at least taken out an LRM-20. Let's continue the good work here. I am somewhat tempted to use the resolve, but no. We're going to take the accuracy buff next turn. Alright, and that thing is not feeling half as well as it was initially. You know what? It's almost cooked.
How might I help?
Well, then at that point, then I guess we just mosey on up and we finish this thing off. I'd like the salvage, but at the same time too, it's unlikely that we're going to get what we want. We're not going to die in a single swing, regardless of where this thing hits us, short of the face. Okay, where can we go then? Jumping's not going to work. Let's just go ahead and we'll move. We'll pick up. We'll move over here. Yeah.
Have no doubt, it will be done.
Alright, let's focus fire. Medium laser keeps us heat neutral. That'll be fine. Yeah, look, I'd really love to leg this mech so we can get more salvage, but I doubt that that's going to be the case. Well.
Yes, Commander.
Alright, you know what? Not the world's biggest amount of damage. This thing's going to take some cover, take some shots. Yeah, look, that's honestly no surprise there. That Enforcer did put on
No retreat.
the majority of the damage there. I can expect that.
Standing by.
Alright, let's bring the commando forwards. We'll keep firing into its unarmored flank. This will probably be a kill here. I doubt that it's going to survive, but if we take out a leg, I'm cool with that too. Alright.
Target neutralized.
Bye-bye, catapult. Alright, what do we got here with the Wolverine? Taking a shot? Alright, structure exposed. You know what? That's actually not that bad. It's not...
That shot got past my armor.
That's not that much damage considering. Alright, so what happened? Yeah, that USC-10 took a little bit of damage, but that's okay. Let's go... I don't know, maybe we go for a melee is not bad. Alright, hang on a second, let's see.
Ready for orders.
Who else has shots? Could shoot this guy in the back. I guess that's technically an option. 65s. What's that? 55s and 45s. Yeah, I suppose that's as good as we could ask for now. Let's just mosey on over. Alright, let's take some shots. Alright, well that'll work.
Badass.
And what do we see? Almost took out a leg. Okay.
Standing by.
Maybe we do focus with a kick. Yeah, although technically speaking, if we do go for melee, we do not get to move away, which is a little bit unfortunate. We'll have to go for the front-on assault. Less likely to take out a leg. Yeah, alright then, fine. Let's just go ahead and move. We'll step back a second.
On my way.
And then let's focus our fire. Let's drop that USC-10. 2 medium lasers keeps us heat neutral, but I think... do we just go for more on the next turn? You know what? We'll just use this to strip some evasion, allow us to maybe fire some more on the next turn when it could be fallen over. I think that's a better plan. Yeah. Alright, and then let's bring Cheese Goblin across. You're fairly toasty right now. Let's go for a melee. Let's attack from the same side. We'll try and take out that leg. There's a good chance that that could happen. Let's see how that plays out. And we missed the 95. Of course we did. Alright. Okay. Big man.
Receiving you.
Let's bring you on down. I think at this point, maybe we go for a precision strike just to knock him down the initiative order. And try and finish him off that way. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Avoid any excess damage. Let's go precision strike. This will take us down to 50, which is perfectly acceptable. Let's aim for the leg. Not that we can really choose too much with SRMs, but...
All weapons are go.
It's more for the initiative sinking anyway.
Commander?
Alright, alright, what have we got? Tank.
Yep.
You know what? Let's just attack from back here. That'll be fine.
Copy that.
Alright, there goes some torso.
That hit something good.
And then...
Orders?
You know what? Maybe we just go ahead for a small little jump jet for the extra damage boost. We'll move back just a fraction. This isn't going to hurt us because we've got such little heat. We can focus in on that broken side. There's a... Yeah, let's hope that we can hit the leg. Alright, well... Oh. CT down. Dropship inbound, Commander. Okay. Is that friendly or not friendly? Okay, never mind. Well done, Commander. The fortress is ours. The Davian forces inbound to take possession. Hey!
Mission successful.
Well, that was particularly swift. And rather minimal damage as well. So, all in all, I think that is a fairly good showing. Unfortunately, not quite the salvage I would have preferred. We did take, what's that? 6 points of structural damage. That is perfectly acceptable. We'll take the catapult, we'll take the Wolverine, as well as the Jenna. Again, mech salvage is always the most important. The rest, inconsequential, although we did pick up that LRM-20, which is particularly nice. In fact, that actually could go into our Jenna. Oh, sorry, not our Jenna, our Javelin. That actually could save us some weight, potentially. Yeah. Oh, wait a second. No, I think we dropped the LRM-5 as well as the 15 for those extra medium lasers. Well, you know what? Maybe we should readdress that as we change location. We'll have to travel for at least a week or two, would be my guess, to the next planet. So that is worth noting. All right. So, yeah, contract-wise, I think we're out. Yep. We need to go ahead and find a new location. We'll do that in a second. Let's head to the... Oh, let's head to the store before we do anything. I think what we'll do is we will sell off our old Commando and our old Javelin and Spider. We're not really using these, and more money will help us rather nicely. So let's get that done. And then anything else we can afford to sell? Not really. We've got a couple of small lasers here, but yeah, and a few nicer ones as well. Although, oh, hang on a second. This is for selling, so we've got some good stuff here. Extra accuracy, extra damage. I think maybe what we could do is if we were to go purchasing... Yeah, look, we could potentially buy an extra part of a blackjack, but again, that's not really that helpful. Same thing for the assassin, but again, I don't think that's particularly what we're after. Let's go ahead and see. Yeah, can't buy any of those. None of them particularly help us. Let's check. What have we got? Okay, so we've got some arm mods. Extra melee damage, but again, that takes extra stuff. A little bit of extra melee hit. We could chuck that on that Phoenix Hawk. That could be rather nice. It is a little bit pricey, but it's also not the worst. But it is unfortunate when we do miss. So you know what? Maybe we go ahead and we buy this just to improve our damage output on that thing. There is also the TTSs for extra missile accuracy and energy accuracy. Oh, they are nice. They are very nice. But again, this is heavier than our one in our Phoenix Hawk, I believe. Okay, let's just double check, because if they're the same weight, maybe it is worth investigating. But we'll see. Alright, come on. What have we got here? If we scroll down to our TTS, it should be in our center torso. Yeah, 1 ton. Okay. So we'd have to lose a little bit more heat sinking if that was the case. I'm not sure that's exactly ideal, but it is what it is. Alright, I think what we're going to do is... let's see, where should we put the... Oh, the Javelin's still in progress. Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're going to... Hang on a second. We're going to go to the Phoenix Hawk. We're going to refit some of these small lasers into it. That'll be fairly minimal for expense, but give us some nice little bonuses there. Extra damage, I think that's always going to be the choice that I would prefer. We'll go for greater damage there, and then we can either go for 5 extra damage or extra accuracy. Both of which are pretty solid if you ask me, but I think... Oh, that extra accuracy is very nice. Look, I think that's what we'll do. We'll go for accuracy, guarantee we do damage. The TTS will help as well, but this will just make sure that that small laser can never miss, which I suppose if we're using it, I would prefer that than the other. Yeah, so that should be nice. And then anything else we wish to do. Now let's just check that store once more. Medium lasers, flamers and things. No, I don't think that particularly helps us out too much. Alright, so that'll be fine. Oh, that's right. There is also this gyro that would take 3 spaces. We would need to move at least the TTS and a heat sink. We could always shuffle that around. Put that over here. Move the heatsink to the other side. Or maybe we just double up to try and avoid critting the TTS. Oh, look, you could always technically chuck it in the foot, but I don't think we're going to. Yeah, look, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to buy that gyro. I do hate missing, and there's a few times there that would have been particularly helpful. So we're going to buy it.
New equipment available.
So let's go ahead and throw that on in. This will get some decent use. So +3 to hit for our melee. That'll be very nice. All right, that will do. 5 days, 6,000 C-bills. That is acceptable. Let's go ahead and confirm that.
I'll get it in the schedule.
As for the Enforcer, let's just go ahead and repair. There's nothing else that we can really swap out at this point, so that should be fine. And then, if that's the case, yeah, we're going to have to wait for the Javelin to come back. That'll give us a little bit of, yeah, that'll give us a second. I think we also need to go for an engineering upgrade. We do have 2.8 million C-bills. Mech Bay 2? Actually, scaffolding could be cheaper. It costs us the same overall, but as in a same amount of time, but it is particularly cheap. That would help us out with some extra tech points, although realistically this does get us more. We could field more. It's $1 million. But you know what? We did just pay. We just got paid at least what, close to 700,000 C-bills with those mechs. We probably would have done that other stuff anyway, right? It still leaves us at 1.9 million. You know what? I think this is going to be better. Gets more mechs up on the field, and depending, we might need that for if we try to pick up a flashpoint or something like that, needing multiple lances just in case something happens, as we don't get time to relax in between. Alright, so, MechWarriors, let's go ahead and...
Standing by.
We'll see what we can do here. Big man, I think we will chill out for a second.
Yes, Commander.
Cheese Goblin, let's go... Gunnery? 20% max sprint? Oh my goodness, that would make you very, very dangerous in that thing. It'd certainly make you much more maneuverable. Actually, could be better than using some of those jump jets. That would be very nice. That said, though, we could potentially... I don't know, bridging shot could be fun. You know what, let's focus in on the piloting. That also increases your melee to hit. Yeah, I think that's not a bad plan. Let's boost you up as...
MechWarrior
that.
Commander.
Fimble, still waiting on a little bit of XP.
Standing by.
Rannick, you were very close to being able to receive that Master Tactician, so we will hold off. And
Good to go.
Tank, you seem all, yeah, you seem okay as is. Yeah, there's nothing else to change there. Alright, so let's go ahead and head to the navigation. And you know what? I'll have a bit of a look in the star map. And what do we want to find? Realistically, we probably want at least one skull. We're doing those fairly comfortably, but we are making good money. We're on Brockway at the moment. Yeah, I think that just hasn't updated. Could go ahead and fly back down into Torian space. That wouldn't be the worst. We could clear that up. We've got some, let's see, small population, periphery level civilization, manufacturing. I don't know, maybe that's all right. And then what else have we got? 1.5 skulls. Well, you know what? We did just do a couple of a level 2 or so. We could zip over here. 17 days. Actually, you know what? This would set us up for a few more missions if we did want to do a few in series. And it's only... yeah, that should actually be fairly quick to fly between all of those planets. So what have we got here? Jamestown, former Star League presence. Oh, that could actually be really good for some salvage. Let's maybe head there. Yeah, we've got some electronics. Okay, let's head to this one first. Let's head to Samantha. And then from there, maybe we go to... then we go to Jamestown. Just that way we can build up some money before we do potentially have things that we could purchase. Yeah, alright, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and travel. Hopefully this works out relatively well. 60,000 C-bills, fairly standard. No big issue there. And then, oh, we have a minor infraction. An argument draws you into the mess hall. Tank starts towards you, red-faced and scowling. Commander, I hate to bother you with this, but Fimble is whacking off again. We're supposed to share garbage detail, but they... Share? You want me to share? Commander, this guy is the reason we're on cleanup duty in the first place. He acts like he's my boss. Just last week he filed 24 complaints. He filed 24 complaints with the XO and got us both put on garbage detail, and he did it over nothing. An infraction's an infraction, Tank sneers. If you stop messing up, I'll stop reporting you. Huh. Okay, so he's... let's see, nobility, military, officer, rebellious. He's already feeling rebellious. I don't really want to make him feel worse. And then... I don't know. Yeah, look, part of me wants to address both of their shortcomings of like, well, hey, look, if you've been written up, it's probably because something's wrong, but at the same time, too, that is certainly Tank's fault. Yeah, look, I think what we're going to do is we're going to... let's just address both of them. Yep, I know Fimble's probably not going to be super thrilled with this outcome because he's already in trouble. But at the same time, too, yeah, I don't know. Let's just go with both. Alright, you step in between the infuriated MechWarriors, hold up your hands. This ends today. I don't know what's really going on between you two, but no more bossing Fimble around, and no more slacking. You're both better than this. The MechWarriors begrudgingly agree. Though they don't look directly at one another, noticing their reticence, you gesture for both of them to step forward. Not that long ago, you two got along just fine. What happened? Fimble looks up. I'm just tired of Tank getting all the praise from Darius. Tank blinks in surprise. You're jealous of me? I was annoyed that the rest of the MechWarriors kept going on and on about your antics. I wanted to take you down a peg. You incline your head. Sounds like both of you have a lot to discuss and plenty of time. I won't hold back, Tank looks Fimble in the eyes. They shrug and they reach for a trash can. I'm not going anywhere. Alright, Fimble's no longer rebellious. Fantastic. This is good news. Okay. Well, let's see. The Panther's being worked on, Phoenix Hawk's a few days, and so is the Enforcer, all of which will be done before we arrive. Let's quickly check in on that mech bay. Again, as I said before, with that Javelin, we may upgrade to an LRM-20 potentially. So, let's see. At the moment, this is 7 tons. An LRM-20 will be 10. Oh, that's a lot of extra mass to pile on. Yeah, look, I don't think we can do that. That's, that's a nice dream, but again, we're not willing to get rid of so much. Also, to ammunition, that'd only give us 6 rounds of ammunition, which we definitely need at least 2. So realistically, that's a good, what, 12 tons that we'd need here. This is 8, and even then, occasionally we are finding ourselves a little bit short on munitions. Alright, I think we're just going to have to stand with what we've got. That's honestly okay with me. It could be a whole stack worse. Alright, but either way, back to the jump ship. Let's fly on by and see if anything else occurs. 14 days too for us to travel also means that we should get those tech bays sorted a little bit quicker. We don't necessarily have to fill them with mechs. After all, we do have to pay for each mech that is active. But yeah, those extra tech points will not go astray. Help us recoup our mechs a little bit quicker, fix our repairs that much easier, and all in all, save us time and money. So, I think it was a fair investment. Alright, so...
That work order you submitted is complete.
Alright, work is over. Oh, there's been a fire in the barracks. Okay. In the command center, the comm system squawks. Command? Anybody? It's Tank. With heavy and nervy edge to his voice. There's a big fire in the barracks. Everybody's out, but not our stuff. Is there anything else I can do? Dr. Maraud calls out a reply. How did... Her voice is sharp with alarm. Moments later, she continues. Commander, I've turned off power and ventilation, but the fire won't go out while there's oxygen to burn. I'm going to have to remotely vent the pod. Commander, Big Man, just found some dusty fire extinguishers behind a panel, says Tank. Tank and Big Man? Oh, look, don't get me wrong. I don't want to vent it. That is all of their belongings. Fire extinguishers should work. We'll go with that they should work, right? Tank responds, right away, Commander, we'll save what we can. At the next morning briefing, Dr. Maraud gives an update. The MechWarriors were able to extinguish the fire with minimal damage to the hab and no injuries. It really was a heroic effort on their part. She continues, now this fire was caused by a fault in the power system itself, which, not incidentally, also disabled Argo's command fire suppression systems. I strongly advise you upgrading the ship's power conduits as soon as possible. We'll lose 2,000 sea-bills, morale is increased, and Big Man and Tank are both brave. Fantastic. Okay. Not exactly what I wanted to hear, but it could be a whole stack worse. Let's just have a look and see what this would cost us for the power system. 360,000 sea-bills in 20 days. Okay, I think that may be what we go for next. We've already improved the structure. These first ones were just the bare minimum. I think this will make them better. And then the last one here... Yeah, that's kind of the top tier that we could go for, but I think we'll... yeah, I think we will probably invest in that as soon as we can, because again, we've got to make sure that this doesn't happen. Yeah, I think it's a reasonable upgrade. Alright, we've arrived at Samantha. Let's go ahead and visit the store. Not that we're necessarily purchasing things, but you never know what we'll find. Looks like they got a Battle Master. Oh, that would be nice, but no, that's not going to happen. A Hunchback as well. Oh, I do love a good old Hunchback, but again, money we don't currently have. A different Javelin build-up setup there with a lot of SRMs. It's not terrible. That would be pretty good at brawling, really. Quick flying and do some damage. Marauder 3R. Well, that would be very nice. If only we had the money. Orion, Wolverine, and then as to the weapons, what have we got? Machine guns that crit. An exchanger. Thermal exchangers reduce the overall heat generated from weapon attacks by a fixed percentage. Unlike heatsink components, thermal exchangers are not impacted by the surrounding environment. That could actually be rather nice. If we chuck that on maybe our Enforcer, 10 weapon heat, what is it? That could actually end up being potentially better than a heat sink, depending on what there is. Single-use mortar. Again, it's nice, but again, it doesn't really we found in the last run that it doesn't exactly do too much. It's not very useful. But either way, that is what it is. Let's go ahead and have a look at our contracts. We've clearly got to go ahead and pick up some more work. I think what we'll do is, yeah, as soon as we get the information from Comstar. Alright, we've got a fair few 1.5s, even some 2.5s. Yeah, this could be a little bit dangerous. So what have we got here? We've got some urban battles. That could be some close quarters, but again, potentially good salvage, good money. Supply lines, less salvage, more money, another battle. Let's see, battle in Tundra, not as much money. Yeah, look, I think there's some decent choices here. We'll just have to, I'll have to have a bit of a think between episodes. But either way, that is a good spot for us to end it. So if you do want to see more, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is the best way to catch all future content, and I'll see you next time. So until then, thank you for tuning in to the Leviathan Cove. This is the Leviathan, signing out.